Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours, and welcome to the exciting installment of Giants Dublin. Pepper, who is busy as ever working in the library, trying to straighten out the woodocious mess that is the grand cavalcade of books, seeming to spread out as far as the eye can see, will hear a slight knock, knock, knock on the library door.
And let's face it, there's no telling how many books were pulled down, glanced at, and left sitting somewhere instead of reshelved. So I imagine she is onto the reshelving process, which is exacting. And so rather than pausing as she kind of has been lining up books on top of one of the desks so that she can carry them a bunch at a time, will instead lift little 571 down so that he can scuttle to the door and open it. She admittedly kind of pauses and knits her brow because she doesn't expect a polite knock at a library. One just tends to wander in and out.
As you look outside, you will admittedly see a piece of candy has been left in the center of the corridor, about 5 feet from the piece of candy.
About 5 feet from the door?
Yes, and about 5 feet after the second piece, there might be a third.
There's literally just a trail of candy.
There is literally a trail of candy.
What? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. She is not immune to curiosity. So when there's no one there when 571 opens the door for her, she will carefully, slide down the books so that they're resting on their sides and won't fall over as soon as she walks away. And kind of clippity-clop her way inquisitively to the door, looking down at a piece of candy. And then kind of craning out to look down the hall. Is it a trap? Like, essentially, to see how far this trail goes.
The trail leads to the stairs, about 30 feet down the carpeted corridor.
Is there like a banister she can overlook?
Yes.
She kind of peers over the banister?
By God, it goes all the way down.
I'm not gonna lie, she is... Yep. She's not that worried. She's gonna pick up that first piece of candy at the very least. And look it open, toss that in her mouth, and kind of curiously pitter-pat.
Goodness.
I know, right? Kind of pitter-pat her way, down the hall, down the stairs, craning to see where the trail goes.
Are you actively picking up the candy as you go, or are you just leaving it on the floor?
The temptation to go, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy is very, very strong.
Do whatever it will destroy my heart.
Then yeah, just because sometimes you gotta do the thing, because how could you not do the thing? She's just gonna be like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, different piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
Outside, kind of hunkered down behind a wall, Tintagel will look over at Rides, who is much or less hunkered down behind the wall. He's going to say, "So, you're sure this will work?"
Positive. Give it at least 2 minutes, and this is gonna work. Watch. Here she comes.
He'll kind of look at you. He'll look at Rides and he'll go, "That's inanely psychic. Why would anyone literally follow a trail of candy?"
Satyrs.
I accept this logic.
You get the inane sense that Rides has done this before.
This is probably why she's peering ahead periodically, like following the trail, like narrow eyes, like it's a trap, but candy.
At which point, as you step outside into the open air, the doors will close behind you.
There will be at least, before she steps out fully, there will be a point where she like has a hand on either side of the door frame and like leans out, cranes a look around to see where the trail goes. Gotta make sure the coast is clear.
There's a small pile of candy in the center of the outer courtyard. Little pile of candy. It's like have you ever seen the pyramids of Ferrero Rocher?
Not gonna lie.
You want a pyramid of candy, okay.
It's the pyramid. Hey, if it's Ferrero Rocher, she's like, ooh, expensive candy.
Actually expensive in America?
They're more than you'd pay for like other candies. They're not like insanely expensive or anything. They're just a little more costly.
Expensive.
Yeah, they're decently costly. They're not the kind of thing you're just going to find laying around the house. So, she kind of glances around and, she sees the obvious fucking trap. Doesn't see anyone or anything especially threatening nearby and creeps out. Yeah, and the door slams and she proceeds to jump and bleat. Because they're not supposed to do that by themselves.
Tintagel will say, standing up. Isn't it?
You lagged.
Oh, is that better?
Yes.
Is it Miss O'Reilly?
Yeah. Sorry, you keep lagging, so I'm missing bits. It was something.
Is that somewhat better?
For the moment, seems like.
Okay. I just had to close some applications that were doing some things. He says, is it Miss O'Reilly is your name?
Yes? What you doing?
You'll notice that even in his house, Tintagel, he doesn't walk around as if he's about to go off to battle. However, now he is dressed in armor.
Yeah, thus there is the what you doing, and probably like, I'm just gonna slowly back away. That's the best solution to any situation.
When you do that, you will see two gigantic robotic hands on the door that are keeping it closed. It's rather simple, Miss O'Reilly. Would you care to step out here, please? Relax, I've got rides with me.
I don't think I would. Kind of cranes to look around.
Rides is leaning against the wall going, yeah, I'm part of this charade type stare.
You'll notice that the courtyard looks slightly different in the sense that a number of things like targets and wooden men with stick swords in their hands have been set up.
And yeah, I assume, Heather, are you joining in? Feel free to at any point. I don't know.
Feel free to join at any time. You can literally. I have a nice castle. People come here to have tea all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure Raven is probably standing in this room, looking around, like, whoa.
It's outside. It's the courtyard of his palace or his castle, actually. Just before you leave out.
Okay. All right. So she looks around. Yes. Now it makes sense why the place I live is called a shithole.
Blink.
I see. But yes, Miss O'Reilly, we've decided, or rather I have decided, that if you're going to engage in escapades with us, we need to start teaching you the martial.
I don't like hurting people.
You do?
Oh, you're still losing it.
Beg your pardon?
Come back. You still kind of fuzz out for a couple words at a time.
That's really unusual. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting next to my router. Is that better or worse?
So far I'm hearing you.
Okay, he'll say, it's not necessarily a matter of hurting anyone, it's a matter of being able to protect yourself.
I'm going running now, so I'll be faster.
He will very casually, he will draw his own sword from his hip. There's the wonderful kind of shing.
Hold on, I need to pull up a thing real fast. God damn it. Give me one second.
You just have that on like sound or something.
No, I feel like I know what's about to happen and I really need to pull up a thing. Where is it? That's the one. And it goes shing. And it may be noted that, at least for the last couple days, Pepper's been wearing thistleflower in her hair. Every day she has one. And the sword goes shing, and she reaches up for it.
Is it a pretty thistle flower?
It is. It's super pretty.
He will very calmly, he'll flick the sword around his hand, but then he holds the pommel out for you. He's like, flick, and he holds it out.
I don't know how to use those.
Exactly, and I'm going to teach you.
What if I don't want to know how to use those?
You see, he'll actually, his expression in his eyes will soften. Actually, no, he hasn't been giving you a hard look, particularly. Like he generally has a very authoritative she look because that's how she always look.
It is.
But his eyes will soften, and he'll say, "Honestly, there are terrible things as well as wonderful things here. And myself, or indeed your dear Rides, are not always going to be there to protect you. I don't want to turn you into some kind of hardened killer by any means. I don't think that you have. I think that your heart is too good for that kind of drudgery. Trust me, it takes a weight and it places it on you. But just the basics, so you know how to fend off an attack and keep yourself safe. There's a difference."
I feel like if I'm close enough that I need to fend off an attack, I've already done something wrong.
Sometimes it is simple as sitting by the wrong lake or walking down the wrong path. There's nothing that is wrong necessarily, except the arbitrary nature of fate.
There's the awkward little pause. She actually like picks up one little deer hoof and scratches at the other leg with it.
Beautiful.
She still just kind of sputters and hangs back.
He's going to walk forward, and he has the sword held out. He's just going to say, "Just take it. It won't hurt you." For the record, I should point out, Tintagil's sword, if you have any, like, if Irish is something that interests you, holy sweet mother of Jesus, it's made of awesome.
At least it's very pretty, essentially.
It is absolutely. His sword is, it looks to be made of a bronze metal. It's roughly about the length from the tip of your finger to your forearm. It's not a particularly long sword. It's covered in beautifully intricate designs and work. The handle appears to be covered in soft moss as opposed to any type of leather. And the record, a legendary treasure.
I'm not gonna lie, she doesn't look especially thrilled, but especially as he comes over and literally like places the thing right there in front of her, she kind of tentatively picks up her hands, and admittedly, it's pretty clear as she's looking down at the sword that she's mostly distracted by the fact that it's obviously something of, insane value. It's not necessarily that she's eager to hold a sword. In fact, if anything, I assume this is traditional sword-wise and that it's not necessarily very sharp because it is the force that does the cutting, really.
Oh no, the sword is sharp enough to cut thought.
Oh dear.
It's not quite that sharp. I would need a Kim clarification on it, but no, it is quite sharp.
No, she actually, even taking it, like a hand goes on the handle and a hand kind of stays open under the blade, like under the flat of the blade. She doesn't exactly take it like someone who knows how to hold the damn thing.
Okay.
But she does, like, she holds it and looks at it and admittedly just enjoys the fact that she's holding something that's very, very artistic, very beautiful, very powerful, probably, but
so,
yeah.
What do you think, Squire? He'll say, turning to Rides. Do you think that she cuts a fine figure with a sword?
Rides rub his big ginger beard. I think if she doesn't want to be one, there's no point in trying to get her to be one. I've offered to train her before and she said no, and I respect her wishes. So I've been teaching her how to run and all that, but if she doesn't want to learn how to fight, he'll just spread his hands. Just kind of shrug.
He'll nod and he'll say, "I have an idea." He'll look at her, and he looks at her in all seriousness, and he says, "I won't teach you how to fight, because, as Ride said, you have no interest in that. What if I teach you how to dance?
The eyes kind of narrow suspiciously because she knows how to dance.
Do you know that? But the question is, do you know the dance he's trying to teach you?
No, probably not. That's why there's the eye narrow of like, I feel like this is a trap, but go on.
Ah, now there's an interesting idea.
So, for the record, Kincaid, you can join us whenever you like. We outside Goonin.
Yes. There are all sorts of like dummies and whatnot all over the place.
Mhm.
Combat-y stuff.
Stuff that is for combat. Barricades?
Yes.
Are you joining us?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey.
You want to do your intro then?
Kincaid. The only thing different about Kincaid is that he around his upper arm. You guys have been noticing this. A couple of the Corby, they all wear the Black Watch curtain on their arm now.
Ooh.
For no reason. They just do.
Interesting.
And let it be clarified too that Bambi is periodically glancing over at the big Clericon, like reassuring herself by glancing over, being like, "No, he's still there. It's okay."
All right. He'll say, first of all, yes. He will stand away from you, and he'll enter a pose. He'll enter kind of a positioning. You know, like he'll have one hand on his hip, and actually he will go and he will draw another practice sword. He'll let you use his that's in your hand, because it's also very good for training people with, because it's light and easy to use. You will then take up a pose, with one hand flared behind him, and one hand on the sword, and he'll say, "Simple, stand like me."
There's some obvious debate back and forth, and some small amount of lip chewing, but she does finally put the thistle flower back up in her hair where it started, and do her best to, like, she doesn't have the strong wrist. She doesn't, she's not used to using weapons or heavy things one-handed, so it takes her a second to get a proper grip on the sword where she can actually support it with her wrist properly, but she'll finally kind of tentatively mimic the pose again, with the cursory glance here and there to Ride's, like, "Yep, still here. Everything's fine."
At which point he will move very gracefully, and he'll twist his full weight around in a circular motion, and he'll bring his hands together, one on top of the other, in a change. Basically, he's changed from, if you were to use the Japanese equivalent, he's changed from one set of from position of his kata into another, and he'll basically say, "If you could do likewise, just follow my movements."
And again, little nose twitch. The ears kind of flick up the tiniest bit, and again, she will mimic. Thankfully, dancing is kind of her thing, so if you call it that, she treats it as such, and yeah, fluid motion, mimicry. This isn't fighting, this is dancing, it's fine.
Move forward and put his hands into the equivalent of a high guard, so kind of, one hand up, the other, both hands still together, both hands, his wrists around in a very graceful motion.
Considering he's moving into something that's more recognizably a combative pose, she will again markedly hesitate. But she'll eventually flow through the motions too, albeit she's still clearly not. She's holding the sword like it's a prop, not like it's a sword.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. He'll say, now put the three movements together, and do them with as much speed and efficiency as you are able.
And just for fun, I'll do a roll to see.
Oh, question, what are you rolling? Because that sword will do things if you try
Oh
and
no,
roll
I'm
certain
rolling
things.
dance.
I'm trying to think if one of the things on the sword would apply to dance, but that would be a Kim thing. One of its effects might. No, it's okay. Just roll your dance.
Yeah, it's performance. Let's see how well she picks this up for lulls. Oop. Just double checking my pool. Yep. No specialty for this. That's still 3 successes. And again, she'll go through the motions, and it's very pretty, and it's very smooth, and it's very fast, but it's not like she is holding the sword like it is a prop and carefully balancing it and making sure that she doesn't like overbalance it, but it's the equivalent of teaching someone how to do a dance with a prop sword.
Mm-hmm. It is still the first step.
She'll glance over to him for approval and glance over to Rides to see if he's feeling any kind of way about it.
He's just leaning up against the wall, chatting to Kincaid and Raven, essentially, but watching her.
Tintagel, for his part, will give an approving nod. Very good. You learn quickly.
I like dancing.
He'll smile and he'll say, I have no doubt. I should hold a ball at some point. I really should.
Kincaid looks up at this and he says, so I'm going to be the one that has to say it because I'm a red cap, right? Okay. What good is this teaching her? She's not going to use it.
I would never make her do anything she did not want to do. I, however, would hate to think of the consequences of her being in a situation for which she was in a dangerous place.
Teaching her how to use a sword. She's never going to use a sword. She might use a stick or a knife. She ain't never using a sword. It's not going to happen.
That's a fair statement, Mr. Kincaid. Perhaps something that doesn't take as much...
Or perhaps you teach her to run away as quick as possible to move out the way so the warriors that are going to fight and come in and stomp the shit out of whatever is causing the problem.
That's what I've been teaching her anyway. Teach her how to move rather than actually engage.
Moving is dodging. Dancing is dodging. She can already do that. Just dance out of the fucking way.
Miss O'Reilly, may I ask a question of you? He'll say as he walks back over and kind of holds out his hand for his sword.
Oh yeah, she'll very carefully hand it back. Again, a hand on the pommel and a hand carefully propped under the flat of the blade because, it's still, it may be a light sword, but it's still a sword, and they're fairly heavy to people who aren't used to wielding them.
That's fair. He'll look at her and he'll say, you don't want to take a life. That is very important to you, yes?
Yes.
What if I could give you something that would enable you to defend yourself, but would enable you to defend yourself effectively, but that would never ever draw blood and never be able to take a life?
Maybe. But she, for what it's worth, as the Redcap speaks up, saying it very bluntly and very forthly, he actually gets cast kind of a thankful look.
Because, you have to understand, he'll say, shrugging, the Shia martial society, we view martial pride in a very peculiar way. I'm not saying that you need to adapt our logic, but we will not always, myself, Rides, all and sundry, will not always be there to keep you safe.
I can be very hard to hit when I want to be. And I can make it very hard to chase me down.
I'm sure you can.
I'm better suited to making you all likewise hard to hit, hard to chase, and putting you back together. Ooh. Opinions.
Angry Baby was just like, no, you will fight, dear!
It's very opinionated. No, I think the best thing to do for you would be to arm you with knowledge that suits your talents.
You can give her a really big book to hit people with?
No. I mean, if she's light on her feet and can get away quickly, then perhaps those are the arts she should focus on.
I'm getting better at getting fast. I'm better at this though, and she kind of she's actually like I'm better at. She points up at the little flower in her hair, and this magics that confuse people's ability to tell what has happened and hasn't happened yet, and learning more about naming things and what those mean.
Okay, I'm gonna have to kind of step in and say, did your character just openly admit to knowing naming?
I don't know if that's a bad thing to know, like
Okay.
out of character. If that is a bad thing to know, then or something that she shouldn't fess to, please let me know.
Yeah, no, this is why I have to ask. It used to be in the older editions that the She were very particular about naming ever being used. They didn't. I know. I'm not sure if it's the same. And I think C20
Then
may have done
I
away with
would
it.
just like take a little eraser to that bit, but the idea
I'm
that
actually-
she's
I'm actually curious because I can't remember if it's in this edition or not, which is kind of why I'm saying.
I will let you look it up, but for the moment I'll let her keep that under her hat and just say, point to the flower and then confusing what's happened and hasn't happened yet.
That's fair. Marcus, question. Do you remember off the top of your head if we still feel ways about naming or do we give a fuck?
All the arts are open season.
And no, they're open to everyone, but I know, and the same in the previous edition, it just says that She didn't like anyone other than them using it.
We'll try it again. All the arts are open season, but she don't get the Bogart none of them.
Okay.
So
That's
she
fine.
hasn't learned how to do much with that one yet, so I will have her keep it under her hat because it's not something she feels especially capable with yet. But the Kronos effect and spring effects, she can totally do.
It's funny, out of character, you have the two arts that any She would like flip his shit on if you found out that one used to, because it used to be Kronos and naming and Sovereign. They used to flip their shit if any commoner had.
Well, she'll still fess up to Kronos. So you can feel ways if you want. So neat.
It apparently doesn't make a difference in this edition, so it's entirely fine.
I imagine it's a little strange, but not terrible.
That's an interesting skill you have. Perhaps, well, if the battle were to come to you, you should stick to the outskirts.
I tend to stay at the back.
That's where your talents would be best suited, and
I don't mind being at the back.
Yeah.
And I'm getting better. I've finally learned how to set healing so that it doesn't take effect until it's needed.
oh, you are getting good.
I think that you're right. I should have listened to Squire. I should have listened to the Squire. Perhaps the arts of peace are better for you.
And
How
she
good are you
looks
with that?
somewhat pleased. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, listen to this. How good are you with that pig sticker?
Who are you talking to?
You're the one with the pig sticker.
What's a pig
Slowly.
sticker?
A
It's
sword.
a sword.
Oh.
Slowly gravitates closer to Rides.
Just puts his arm around her, patting her on the head, and just leans back against the wall, lighting a cigarette.
Were you not there when I defeated the king? Or were you not there when I defeated Prince Leonan's champion?
That's not what I asked you.
I'm better than some, not as good as some.
Good to know.
He'll flick the sword around. However, with this in my hand, well, the battle is not exactly fair.
Good to know.
He'll shrug. C'est la vie. My apologies. You have both been my guests for a rather long period of time, and I've yet to offer you any refreshments. Shall we adjourn inside while I have my... You'll just see a whole bunch of really sad looking Womblepots. Staff clean up the exterior.
That sounds like a
Am I even allowed in
splendid
there?
idea.
Of course you're allowed in here, Squire Kincaid.
Really getting off on that squire thing, aren't you?
You have no idea. Out of curiosity, because apparently we stole something from another game we were in. Squires in this game wear a red sash in order to denote their squires to show honor to their house. Does Kincaid wear a red sash?
No.
If it helps, when you become a knight, you get a kick-ass white one that's got gold embroidery.
You see, he's not gonna wear that. It's not gonna happen. There is a Scathach symbol that's been like put on his gauntlets, though.
Oh, Scaffa.
You still having lag issues?
Really peculiar. I said Scathach's heraldry is still the unit.
Aye.
Oh, did he die?
I think he did.
Well, golly, I hope not. He's got the button.
I
This
mean,
is what I usually
hopefully
host.
he pops right back if he did.
Oh, shit. Darn it.
Anyway. Raven's gonna take this opportunity to actually go over and check out Pepper. Because, well, this is someone new, first of all, but also just trying to figure out exactly why she seems so glued to Ride.
Ride watches the she walking, just nods at Kincaid, just watching, like,
Yep. And seeing as Pepper is like essentially tucked under one of the massive arms, yeah, she'll be approaching both of them. She just look up, big doe eyes.
Sorry, what happened in my absence?
Oh, Raven's just approaching where Rides and Bambi are propped.
Like, yeah, she's basically like she's checking out Ride, she's checking out Pepper, going, what exactly is it that's drawn these two together like this?
Friendship is an interesting bond that binds many hearts.
She'll look at Tatangel, say, I suppose you're right. Unfortunately, it appears that I need to take my leave now, so I will bid you all a good morrow.
Good afternoon, Lady Celestine. Or Celestis, rather.
Good afternoon.
Tiny hand wave.
Now then, I believe I was talking of refreshments.
You were?
Hmm. Well, from what I'm led to understand, he'll say, leading their way back inside the castle. Squire Rides the Mountain here has already cleaned out a good 10th of my beer cellar.
Ride's watching the she leave, just turn. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm.
He'll raise an eyebrow and he'll say, "You find her desirable, Squire?"
Didn't say that. I was just
Enjoying watching her leave.
She was looking at me. I thought I'd glance back. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, about that beer supply. Whew.
For what it's worth. Kincaid is not the only one who looks really amused with this observation. Pepper has slunk back out under the arm to follow them in, and yeah, she's kind of smirking like, lol. Eyeballing that she booty.
I
choose to point out, with appearance 7, she got a booty.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's like, yeah, I mean, he was totally like, oh, hello there. You know what I mean?
I remember when Tim literally played a character with App 4 and the spec was that booty, though.
Yep.
Kincaid's is dangerous beauty.
Tintagel's is stunning radiance, I think.
I mean, Bambi's is just endearing.
Right, just sitting there
Fucking
going,
adorable.
Right, just sitting there.
That beard, though.
That beard.
Please,
Well,
God.
when I eventually get him to App 4. That beard, though.
Not like cut ass bod, but that beard, though. What the fuck?
Yeah, he'll be walking along casually. I mean, you don't see many she, I'm just saying,
I would argue you see rather a lot of she, but then again, I may be biased in my opinions and sights.
Yeah, but you're a she, so kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm a clericon, I usually see many she, and seeing all the she is like, well,
Yes, but you have to remember, Squire, that you're moving up in the world. Soon you're going to be knighted, a position that has rather a lot of she.
Well, I look forward to looking at each and every one of them then, nods to himself like, yes.
If it helps, he'll say as they walk into the Great Hall, it does mean that you'll be able to take your own squire.
Oh. Just nods to himself.
Pepper's still smirking in amusement, pops another piece of candy in her mouth because she now has a hoard of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. As Rides enters, one of the Wumblebots, who is standing near the door, will waddle forward with a tray upon which there is a stein of beer, as if they were expecting him.
Thank you, Tiny Stewart. As he picks up the beard.
He will very calmly sit in Tintagel will sit in one of the chairs at the long table. He's not going to walk up and sit in his throne. He's like, nah, I'm going to sit down here today. But he'll throw a leg up over the table and he'll say, however, in order to arrange an outfit for your knighting, it is going to be interesting because it means we're going to have to wake up the greatest clothier in the entire kingdom.
Oh then.
What?
Well, you know how the Wumblebots all have numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question. What's the lowest numbered Wumblebot you've ever met?
215?
Didn't we see some single digits the first time we came in?
I wasn't paying attention to them.
Yes, you saw numbers 7 through 9 who opened the door.
Oh.
However, you have yet to meet, and he actually leans in and he says this really quietly, number 1. At which point, it's almost like the echo in the room expands as he says that. so it will actually bounce off the ceiling. Like, God damn See, number one is the first of the Womblebots. He is also the oldest of the Womblebots and one of my wife's first creations. He's also incredibly old. Incredibly good at his job, but incredibly old. He spends most of his time sleeping nowadays. But he is the greatest clothes maker in the kingdom. I remember the last time we had to wake him in order to get a suit made for Sir Crib. We only had 15 minutes. No one lost any toes.
Oh,
What?
It was a bonus.
I didn't know the Womblebots needed to sleep.
Number one is special. He's kind of the castle in a weird way, and the castle is kind of him.
Oh. Does that mean you had to wake him up to move the castle?
He is very...
Wouldn't you have had to wake him up when you moved the castle?
No, in the sense that he's not the castle in that way. He's... how do I explain this? He's as old as the castle is. He was built around the same time. I built the castle and my wife built the staff, basically. He is this place in the sense that, have you ever encountered something or been with someone who has been or done something so long they have not just come to epitomize it, they have come to synonymize it. It has essentially bled into them so.
You still there?
Did you miss that entire speech?
No. It was most of it. I think we only missed like the last 2 words, but when your GIF starts getting kind of jerky, I know that you're getting froze. I wasn't sure if it was all the way back.
I'm actually going to try something. I'm going to put up a different GIF because for some reason, like, my internet's running fine. It might just put up a picture. There, I'm now sad Howl again. He'll say, have you ever been with somebody who has not just been in or exemplified a thing, but has come to become that thing?
Not really. I don't know many people who have been around or awake that long. I don't think.
I'm curious. Do you mind if I ask a personal question? But to both
No.
of you, to both you and Squire Rides. What do you remember about before?
She'll kind of glance over at Rides and glance back at him. You mean like this me?
No, I mean about the soul who is you, the many lifetimes you've lived, etc.
Me? Nothing.
not much, to be fair. Not much.
I can give you a small history lesson if you'd like.
Shrugs, like, look over at me, like he doesn't mind.
Could you not?
I do have the books.
Why are you eating my fork?
Stop eating the fucking fork, okay?
I ask for so little. He'll
That's
say,
that's bullshit.
No. Needless to say, when my kind left for Arcadia, you were the ones who stayed behind, so you have lived many dozens of lifetimes. This is my first incarnation since I returned from Arcadia. So I remember the past. Much of it. But I don't remember anything since. But no, your peoples, all 3 of yours, spent their time here while many of my sisters and brothers were in Arcadia. So there is much for you to learn. past selves. It is possible.
That's why I like the library.
I'm pleased. Though my wife is very interested in your filing system called I'm going to read the book and then put it on the shelf.
I don't read all of them.
I don't think you do.
Just
In her own way, I assume.
a little, here and there. Though the pile I was keeping aside has been growing and is almost as tall as I am. Kind of scratches at her, the back of her neck, like, yeah.
Though the pile she was what, sorry?
Essentially, the pile she was holding aside to read as she's been resolving has been growing and growing to the point where she's saying, it's nearly as tall as I am now.
As I said, there's an awful lot of wisdom up there. It's just the fact that I have not had time to put it right since I came into this new being in this new place. Everything is so different. I am essentially in a, for lack of better words, a meat suit.
It's a strange thing to call yourself.
You don't understand, young one. I wasn't like this when I left.
There's a bit of a shrug. I remember talking to someone about it and wondering how young one of our souls can be, if there are ever new ones. I feel new, but I don't know if it is the same number of us over and over again, slowly dying one at a time, or if new ones are made or born. And if I'm that old, why don't I remember?
Some do, some don't. Sometimes the memories are valuable enough for you to claw onto and keep hold of, regardless where it is you go, regardless of the detriment of holding on to them. Sometimes a fresh start. Sometimes people wish to view the world in a new way. As to if there are more of us who are created, I think that there are. There are some who are younger, there are some who are older. I mean, remember, you are the dreams of the Bacchanal, the dreams of the nights when, according to the belief and the dreams of the time, men would dance with satyrs upon mountain tops and drink wine sweetened by the tears of the gods from cups. Many things are dreamed. Dreams change, but in the end, we are the stuff of dreams.
Uh-huh.
And technically speaking, he is the dreams of, or he is the nightmares about hunger, but that's an entirely different story.
Blink. At Kincaid, just blink.
I
Oh.
don't know what you mean about that.
What was that, sorry, Marcus?
Don't know what you mean about that. I'm just a chef.
You know, I have never tried your food. I'm looking forward to this cook-off.
You better bring your A game.
Do you intend to bring yours?
Some game I got, buddy.
He doesn't seem to be one for half measures.
No. Have you decided what dish you will prepare?
Duck l'orange, of course.
What kind of duck?
Don't you worry your pretty little head about what's going to happen. Okay?
I accept this premise.
You figured it out yet?
Right. Where is it you dream of being? What is it you dream of doing?
Just take a long sip of his beer. In a caravan in the woods with someone that I feel comfortable around. Says it quite softly.
In the caravan, and what was the second part of that?
In the woods with someone I feel comfortable around. He says it very, very, very softly as he takes just a long sip of his beer.
You know, I've noticed something about you. He'll look at Bambi, like with a flick of his eyes, and he'll say, I'm going to make an assumption, and you will forgive me if you'll forgive it, I hope. Ultimately, you are a man who protects those things that he cares about, and is very, very adamant that he will protect those things that he cares for.
Just nods.
Well, this is the reason why I thought that you would honestly make a good knight, because that is what a good knight does. They place down their own burdens in order to take on the burdens of others, in order to make sure that children go and sleep safely at night, and in order to make sure that those in need are given what they need to survive. It is in many ways thankless, I would suppose, but it is also only done by those who actually care for the people who they would protect. And you seem to me like someone who has a great amount of care in your heart.
Takes a long sip of his beer. I do what I have to.
I'm sorry, what were you rolling for, Katie?
That is appearance subterfuge to keep her face straight.
Oh, I'm totally contesting this.
It's not a very good roll. She's not very good at subterfuge.
If it helps, you do know the stat that goes against subterfuge, right?
I'm assuming it's empathy.
It is. Do you know what my house famously can't do?
I love this. Yes.
We cannot empathy. I actually have an empathy pool just so I don't go into minus numbers.
That's amazing. Yeah. No, this is when Rides gave his answer.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm spending
Just tone down the doe eyes.
Fucking spending that willpower.
What the fuck? You're spending willpower on this?
Yes.
Damn it.
Oh, man, 3 successes.
Yeah, you can like practically see her heart fucking melt.
Oh.
Because that was sweet.
Oh. Look at them being all cute. I don't know why, but Kincaid should become a grump just so we can sit there and go, "Duh, look at the little ones being adorable."
Surprised he's not. You're welcome to roll against it too, Marcus, if you want.
No, it's one of those conversations with Bambi and Rides will know he really doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to the two of you because it's kind of weird that he doesn't. He'll look away, he'll look from around. If Rides is by himself, we'll talk to him. But if Bambi shows up, he will move away.
Aw. Gonna have to hunt after that one. But later.
Later. He will say, "I am honestly, because I have to now think of the good of the kingdom and the good of the county, etc. I'm going to be honored to knight you when I get the opportunity to, Squire."
Rides just nod.
That, for the record, that is like the highest compliment a she can pay.
Yeah, he's like, Rides like, oh, whew. It's that kind of like, oh,
Oh!
yes.
Random leprechaun noises.
Pretty much Rides just nods slowly like, well, thank you very much. So,
As it is getting to like 2:45 in the morning, I think we might call it there if that's okay with people.
yeah, the only thing Rides does after you say that he gets up and kind of quietly leaves, which people will find odd, but yeah, he just kind of gets up and leaves.
Does
Just
he take a
excusing
shot
himself.
first?
He does, yeah. Yep. Takes out a pocket watch, checks it, and then just excuses himself and starts to walk out.
Get an idle pat on the arm as he's getting up, but she lets him go do his thing. He'll probably soon after excuse herself up to the library.
But Torna, where are you off to?
Oh, you have to find out that boy.
Oh, Nelly, he has secrets, he does.
He do.
Irishman.
Hmm.
I won't admit to understand them either. he'll say after the two have left. I am curious if you could answer a question for me, Squire.
Okay.
What is it you fight for?
The guys like you don't have it all.
And yet you've opted to take the first step on what is arguably our ladder.
No, it's got nothing to do with you. Found the one house that I found the one house that thinks a little bit like I do.
I won't correct you in your assumption.
I won't correct you in your assumption either.
Well then, he'll raise his own wine goblet and he'll say, "I shall hope I am a fit and noble ruler in that case, or else I might find your knife in my back."
No, I'll punch you right in the face repeatedly, then bite your face off, because we're friends.
He'll raise his glass. Your health in that case.
Aye.
All right. Well, that charming note. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin.